Welcome, welcome, welcome to
Hello,
Awakenings
everyone.
Moments to Inspire. I finally get the hang of this whole switching out thing now. But I think we've got the intro finally nailed. Yay! So, how are you, my beloved Sarah, today?
I am quite divine. How about you?
I am absolutely excellent. I am just flying on a flow that has been around me for about 3 or 4 days, and I'm just loving absolutely every second of it, every minute of it, every moment of it. I'm just savoring every second. It's
I
been
love it.
fabulous.
I love it. I love it. Well, they're saying that,
Mhm,
this week there's a lot of stuff going on. Um, and I think that there is an opening happening right now with Pluto and Aquarius,
mhm,
which I think happens today. And then there was, I heard a lot of conversation about the Heavens Cross,
mhm,
the alignment of, our journey, our human soul path, and that of other realms opening yesterday.
mhm,
So, so we are moving into a really magical moment, and
mhm,
amazing that we're here and we are alive in it.
mhm.
I think that's absolutely incredible that we're here.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, so anyway, very, very cool. So, yeah, here we are. How are we going to play today?
Well, I think maybe first we better just mention that we are at Oneness Talk Radio, and that we are broadcasting live from onenesstalkradio.com, and we're also on Oneness Talk Radio, YouTube, and Facebook. So wherever you are, please come and join us in the chat because we would love to see you there in the chat. Either chat amongst yourselves, chat with us. If you have a sharing that you'd like us to read online, please, by all means, put it in the chat. Hi, Denise. She's already here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Here.
I am
Hey, Denise.
here. So we are just delighted to be here with you on this beautiful day, and even just for you to you were talking about the Pluto conjunction and a sense of completion, which falls almost totally perfectly into the ascended numerology for today. But before we do that, do you want to lead us through some Avesa breaths?
Let's do 3 conscious breaths, hands to heart. And let's breathe in, bringing in the consciousness, bringing in the Ave with an audible Ave, and then an audible Sa and a smile. And we'll do 2 more. Breathing in, Ave, Sa. And then one more time, breathing in, Ave, Sa. And that smile. And we are here.
We are here. I always like to say that the smile is the cherry on top that just like it's almost like a pop of champagne cork that just goes pop. And you just get all the tinglies afterwards, and it kind of just shows up on your face. That's what I like to think about when I do the Ave Saw and I smile. It's just the outward feeling or the outward projection of the inward feeling. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, and there's a difference between I mean, I think it's magical when I remind myself to smile when maybe I'm not feeling the smile.
Mhm.
It's magical. But doing the Ave Sa and ending with that smile, it does for me brings up a smile that comes up from the depth.
Yeah.
And I feel it in my cheeks. I feel that it's that same smile that I get when all of a sudden it's like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I have this? And I think that's a really nice testament
Yeah.
to the Ave Sa breath.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I found out that when you smile, whether or not you're happy, that you actually set off the chemicals and the endorphins in your body to begin to make you feel happy. So even if you're not happy, give it a try. Just sit there and smiling, even when no one's looking. Maybe you don't want to grin like a fool, so especially when no one's looking, but just put that smile on your face and carry it around for as long as you can. And even that is a kickstart to helping you lift and feel that inwardly as well. So,
Even laughter. If you just make yourself laugh for no reason, and then it does that same thing chemically, and before you know it. And so I think laughter is great. Or
yeah,
watching, when you purposely are watching other people
yeah.
smile or watching other people with a good genuine laugh, it there's a infectiousness there. It's that same chemical.
What's coming to my mind is when you get babies going and they have that really deep, really belly laughter and they're just, and they're adorable and they're walking around like not a care in the world because they have not a care in the world. When you said that, I was just like, oh, one thing that really gets me going and helps lift my spirits is watching like just babies and their dad's doing peekaboo or something, and they're just thinking it's
Yeah.
the greatest thing ever. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that for sure. Um, so the ascended numerology, I should get that given to everyone, and especially with what we were talking about with Pluto. And it is we have this number come up over and over and over again on our episodes. So I'm beginning to think that there's some kind of universal hello, some kind of so it is once again a 12, which is completion, which is your body, your mind, and your spirit are all combined and working together in perfect unison, like an assembly line of you just doing what needs to be done out in the world with as much peace, love, and joy as you can bring it. So that's what I have to say to you today. Your soul and your body and your mind, today is the day to really let them marry together. Love your body, love and let go of your mind. It's okay. We're okay. We're safe. What's going on around me in the world? Take a look. See what wonders there are in the world. Let that mind realize that, hey, it's okay. Everything's good. And then your soul, of course, your soul is, I heard this, I don't know who said it. I heard it today. Your soul is your GPS. Your soul is,
Oh,
I used to say your soul is your map. I guess that gives away my age there a little bit. But it was a newer person, a younger person that was saying,
I'm gonna
you,
I'm gonna shout out Pauline. That was from our
was it
rampage
this
this morning.
morning? Her
It was.
Yay, Pauline! I thought, oh, and I shouldn't say younger. It was Pauline and I are the exact same age, pretty much. But yeah, it was just like, okay, yeah, you're right. GPS. It's absolutely true. And when you think about it even more so, it's better than a map because your GPS is way up there, right? Your GPS, your signal, your satellites are way up there. They've got that 10,000, 30,000 foot view that can see all around and know that you are truly safe. So of course your soul is more like a GPS than a map, now that I think about it. So that's what I would have to say for you guys is do what is in your heart. Love what you do, regardless of it's if you are having to pick the kids up from school or you're painting a masterpiece or you're doing aerobics exercises in a pool. Love every second of it. If you're changing a dirty diaper, love that too. If you're, up to your eyeballs in work, in insurance, love that too.
Why do I feel that was meant for me personally?
I love you, Sarah. Love that too.
Yeah.
Because the what I like to think of is in order to say, yes, I love that because this is going to pass. I know this will pass because I've 100% survived everything that I've ever been put forth in my life. But the trick is now I have my body, my mind, and my soul all married together, and nobody's fearing anything. Nobody's looking around and worried or anxious. We're just in flow and going straight ahead with what needs to be done and what you want to have done and what's coming to you in your life. Like, you're full of abundance. You're full of all of that energy. So take it and go with it, people, because today is the 12th. Today you are a complete human being, body, mind, and soul. Go out there and see what the world has to offer for you today, because today's the day to do it.
Today's the day.
Today's
Today's
the
the
day
day.
to do it. For sure, for sure, for sure. I love it. I love it. And yeah, it's just a number that keeps coming up over and over and over again. So I think even with an announcement that I have a little later at the end of the show, the fact that it's a 12 again is just, again, amazing and kismet. Was that Pauline chiming in to say, hey?
It was Pauline.
Beautiful Pauline. Much love. So today, Sarah, we were trying to think about what we were going to dive into, because we really like this open conversation thing, eh? This is something that we seem to really kind of enjoy having, almost like sitting down with a cup of hot tea, hot beverage, and you're just kind of chatting across the kitchen table about um, what is within you, without fear, without those friends that you have that you can just tell them anything and you can just talk about any subject. And that's what we kind of wanted this space to be like, so that when we have these conversations, that these they can be open, they can be honest, they can be and that you can open up to us, and let's see what happens. Ego is an interesting topic. We thought, well, if we're going to jump in, let's jump in right up to our neck.
Well, and yeah, and that, and I agree. I think us coming together and creating that space, that essentially that round table, um, because an ego is one that it's a topic, as we're navigating through life, as we're trying to make sense of, our own personal journeys, what that means to try to figure out, how do we be spiritual? How do we really find that betterment of
Hmm.
ourself, connection with our soul purpose? It's, um, we navigate through life as a human, knowing that there's more.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that most people, if not everybody, does that. They might not say it that way, and they might not follow into a conscious path of wanting to be spiritual.
Hmm.
Um, they might not be looking at it from a new age kind of perspective. It might be more religious based, or, it might be more they're introverted with it versus extroverted about it.
Hmm.
But coming together and just be able to talk, what is it like, and how the ego shows up in that is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's real. And I was thinking about it, which I wanted to smile when you were talking about it being the 12 today, because the ego gets a bad rap.
Yes.
And the ego, I was sitting there and I was like going up the steps and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I really want to learn to love my ego. I will often sit and try to make time just to sit with myself.
Hmm.
What is greater than me? My soul, my higher self. I'll ask it questions, try to have things come through that feels like I'm having a conversation
Yeah.
with my best
Yeah.
friend. But what about my ego? I mean, my ego is a part of me,
Hmm.
and it has a purpose.
Hmm.
is part of, I mean, that's my human identity is, my ego's, it's like, hey, you're here as this person. And part of that too, I think, is stemming off of me thinking about Rev Ike and Rev Ike, and I love Rev Ike. But even Rev Ike, and I heard Kyle Cease yesterday was
Okay.
talking,
Yeah.
and he didn't give credit to Rev Ike, but I'm like, that's a Rev Ike thing. But he was talking about him and some guy, and they were talking about money,
Yeah.
and he didn't say the whole, treating money like it's a woman, like Rev Ike would. But um, but he brought up, the relationship and how you talk about money. Well, the same thing goes and applies to an ego. It's like that ego is a part of you. So it did make me be like, okay, if I'm giving the ego a bad rap, if I'm, even dissing on somebody else's ego, because they're coming in confident or they're coming in, I am I am bashing on a part of me.
Yeah.
It's a part of you. The ego is here with the purpose. And how do you discover the beauty of the ego?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So probably just to start off there is for those of you who are wondering, well, what is an ego? Um, I guess the easiest way in a nutshell to say what separates us from other animals is the fact that we can tell time and that we remember spatially time. So we remember before, and therefore we can hypothesize about the future. So it comes in great and fine and well when you're out and about in the wilderness and you can plan, you can prepare, you can keep yourself safe. Basically, that's what your ego is your safety mechanism. Um, and when you get out in the when before we had this world, a modern world, it came in very handy because you were able to plan ahead for things like winters and stores. You could remember hunting paths and but you also had an activity that kept your body and your mind and your spirit in one. And I think what's happened in the modern world now that we're much more sedentary, we have a lot of stuff done for us. Um, we're but our mind still doesn't shut down, and now we see all of these things as stressors or fight or flight. That's the thing that kicks into your body when your ego is trying to rescue you. Your ego is also attached to your fight or flight mechanism, which allows you to either, when you're in danger, fight or flight. So your ego is kind of attached to that as well. It has access to all of those emotions. Think of it almost as your subconscious you that keeps you out of danger. No, don't go that way. Don't put your hand on the stove, that kind of thing. So, but we don't have, first, we don't have the physical activity to keep our body and our mind together. We're sitting all day. We also have stress, but it's a different type of stress and it's not the way it would be back prior to you would run away from the lion, you get away from the lion, the stressor would go away and all would be well. You'd calm yourself down, you'd take your kill back to the fire, you'd sit around, you relax. Now we are just saturated in stress, and that just keeps your fight or flight in absolute like you're just on all the time. So that feeds your ego with anxiety, worry, stress, which then you crash out, you get depression. So many aspects of who you are tied to your ego. It's almost like the persona that is you in this lifetime is your ego plus your body and your soul or your spirit. That's what makes you you. What makes me Angela, what makes Sarah Sarah. So um and then the rest of it, the real you, the inner you, the core part of who you are, of course, is the spirit in a human body having a living experience. So that's basically, it's not very nutshelly, but that's basically in a nutshell what the ego is and what it kind of does for us. But in our modern society, we've let that brain chatter just go off the rails sometimes. And but like Sarah said, it's a part of you. It has a purpose. And it's I like to also think of it as a young child or a naive individual who doesn't quite see the whole picture. Like when you're worried or scared, like your ego is very blind, like it just has the direct route and go. Where it's not very broad in thinking, so you've got to kind of treat it as that naive um, person feeling that it actually is, and try and keep yourself relaxed. Does that make sense?
It does. And I, you making the comment about the movement and being sedentary and whatnot, with the fact that of where we are in the modern age, the one thing that came up for me is, again, the union, the 12, right?
Yep.
Um, but the comparison. And so often, I think the ego steps in when we begin to
Yeah.
compare. We see ourselves, outside of something, we see somebody else outside of something, and we need to go in and fix it. The ego wants to fix, it wants to protect, and it wants to
Mm-hmm.
fix. And where we are right now, there are so many different ways that we can silently compare.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. And that is a sign of separation.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, something gets triggered emotionally, and then, the ego's trying to do damage control. And that goes back to, and that's the thing is if for myself, if I notice that the ego is stepping in,
Mm-hmm.
it's an indicator of where do I feel separate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do I see separation?
Yeah.
And I even thought about it today. It's like, I wonder what would come up if I stopped and tried to communicate with my ego. Like to actively in those moments. I mean, doing the hand of the
Mm-hmm.
heart and breathing and remembering, but to ask my ego, what does it need? Or what is it trying to take care of?
Yeah.
What is it stepping in for?
Yeah. Yeah. And I do that naturally myself. Just it goes both ways. What in me invited this to be, both through the
Yeah,
egoic eye and through your more spiritual lens. You can take it either way, and the question is still valid to whichever part of you that you're asking it. And the truth
right.
always is, once you get the answer, is to trust the answer. And I guess one of the I guess the um, telltale sign that you are on the right track is if it's coming from a level of unconditional love. If it's coming from your ego, it's going to have some probably going to have some snide remark back or whatever. But at least you're aware at when you're talking with your ego, you're already at a level above your ego because you have to be separated from it to even know that you're there. You have to be able
Yeah.
to say, "Wait, why did I say that? Why did I just call that stupid? Or why did I just do that?" That was your ego, and that's you coming back in and saying, "Why on earth did I do that? I don't
Why did I do that?
yeah,
But it's just like asking a child. When you ask a child, why did you why what was going
yeah,
on? Why, and a lot of times it can be a very, like, oh, because it was pretty, or oh, because, it's something that, it's,
yeah,
whatever, very childlike. But sometimes, you even asking a child a question
Yeah.
and something comes back and you're like, "Wow, okay. That I didn't look at it like that before."
Yep. Kids are hilarious and amazing and probably some of our best teachers on the planet 'cause
So, and that ego being what it is, it's actually a really beautiful teacher. I mean, what would we be if we did not have our ego?
well, I don't really think it's well, maybe you're asking the wrong person because for me, I don't really think you can have a physical existence on this planet without having an ego, like I was saying before. It's, um it's almost impossible because your ego is the memories and thoughts that make you up as an individual on this 3D planet. The other half of you is this beautiful corporeal soup that comes down and fills this beautiful suit. But so you need the essence of who you are here and now and the collection of all your history and all of your experiences in that individual, that is your ego, and I don't even think it's possible to kill it. I used to think that at one time, and when I first started my healing journey, that was one of the things that I was just like, "I've gotta get rid of this ego," because for me, the ego was the one that was doing all the negative chatter in my head, and all of the negative, habits and things that I had were coming from the ego. All of that absolutely 110% true. But what I was failing to realize is that aspect is me, part of me, who I am, what I am doing here on this planet, and it gave me all the skills that I need to move forward on this planet. So why would I try to destroy it? I just need to take its hand. I need to take myself by the hand. I need to love myself and walk myself through this process and relearn, no, that's we don't need to be judgmental here. No, we can love everybody. No, we don't need to be worried. No, we don't need to be feel guilty or feel ashamed. We can be who we are in its totality, spiritual being, ego, and meat suit all in one.
See, and that was a trick question because
You trying to trick me?
that was a trick question, because, I mean, we would not be who we are
Yeah.
individually if we did not have our ego.
Mhm.
It would be like Stepford Wives or something. I mean, it allows us to grow and evolve.
Yeah.
I mean, just as important as, maybe, when we look at something like a mosquito,
Mhm.
right? Like, what is the purpose of a mosquito? And so often we overlook, some of
Mhm.
the pests in life, and we feel, like we forget easily the purpose that they are. But they are they are crucial to our ecosystem,
Yeah.
and the ego is the same way. And our lives would not be what they are if we didn't have that ego component to it. And and yeah, it does, and we can't ignore the fact that sometimes we come face to face with someone who has a very imbalanced ego
Mhm.
or a strong ego. And that is tricky. And it's also tricky when we allow it to happen within ourselves. And I think that that is another important thing is, if you're really wanting to tap into your well-being, understanding how healthy your ego is. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that you're less than. It just means probably that you're going through something
Mhm.
or that there's something to go through.
Yep. Yeah. What's being if you're being triggered, that's probably a good way to put it. If you're being triggered or you take something personally, the chances are you've hit your ego. Your ego's taken it and is trying to run with it. That's the sign to go, "Oh, right, I don't need to act that way anymore. Right, right, right. This is just a learned response. We don't need to act that way anymore." Yes, excellent.
But if we do, I mean, and I think that is you and I have talked about this.
Mhm,
When our ego acts up, then there is, especially if you're navigating a life, trying to understand the spiritual side of you, trying to connect with yourself spiritually.
mhm,
How when our ego is there, especially with where we are collectively talking
mhm.
about spirituality, it seems like judgment
Yeah,
rears its head because we compare ourselves to what I think that we have allowed ourselves to believe ego should fit into the spiritual path.
mhm.
Am I saying that too wordy? Does that make sense?
I think it does that well, maybe not. Let me go back.
I feel that there is a struggle that happens
Mhm.
when ego shows up, however it might be,
Yes.
because we have to go through trying to figure out how we fit
Yep.
in, who we are.
Mhm.
Um, and when we're going to do that, we're going to see separations. We're going to see things that come up. We're going to wonder, where do I fit in? How do they fit in? Is this right? Is that wrong? Oh no, here comes fear, or here comes, whatever comparison, whatever those things are. And if we feel that at any time we're going through that we feel less than,
Mhm.
then judgment can show up, judgment of ourselves or judgment of others. And or even if we're going through it and we're going through, I mean, yes, I think that a lot of people, as they move through, they find themselves being quick to step out of it.
Mhm.
But even stepping in it can cause judgment. And then you go down a different spiral of, oh, now I'm in judgment. So you have ego and judgment. And it can leave one questioning. Like, am I not doing this
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like, here I am. I'm not good enough, maybe. And again, ego and
Yeah.
judgment.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Loving detachment, is what comes to me when but that's also with yourself too, but not loving detachment in that you're trying to spiritually bypass anything. I'm not talking about, they've hurt me, but because I'm going to be the better person and I'm going to be the most Christ-like or whatever, I'm going to let them have it and I'm going to go on and be calm with myself. That's kind of not what I'm meaning. Uh, when we feel wronged and our ego starts taking us over, I'm trying to think of the proper wording for this, is we I like to think so that I don't have that spiritual bypass so much that I'm looking at it from a lens um, of a like I was saying before, a young child where I don't need to scold them. But loving detachment is you love your children regardless, right? You love them like and I've heard of that. I've heard women who have had sons and women and sons and daughters who are criminals and they've done heinous, heinous things, but they still love them And I'm not saying that I maybe that was not the best example, but what I'm saying is a mother's love is completely unconditional. And and I think that's what you need to have with your child. It's like when they have that temper tantrum and want to um and have like an outburst because they've taken something personally, um you can sit back with your and be in that place of almost like a loving mother to say, it's okay. We don't need to beat ourselves up. Remember, we're working on this, right? And try and pep talk yourself through it. But pep talk yourself through it because you're learning something new and you are get and cut yourself some slack. Cut your ego some slack. Cut you some slack. Cut the whole combination some slack. And the more you do that, and each time you succeed a little bit more. So you've caught yourself and you were rambling, you're rambling, and you went off on somebody and you left, but you managed to, after you left them, you were able to catch yourself and say, oh, okay, well, next time in that kind of situation, I won't do it again. And the next time that situation comes up, similar to that, you don't necessarily do it as quick. Eventually, you will begin to trust yourself in your entirety. Your ego begins to remember, oh, yeah, it learns its new path, it learns its new habits. You got all your new neurons firing in your synapses, and you are moving forward with the new habits and the new lifestyle that you've got. But you're also doing it with more confidence and more self love because you were patient and self loving with yourself through the whole process. And I think right there is probably, looking back on my 6 years plus of healing journey, I would say learning to love myself unconditionally was the best gift that I had ever given myself. And it's still to this day the best gift that I've ever given myself. Truly, just cut yourself some slack and learn to love yourself and love your ego because, like I said, it's just there to help you.
Well, and celebrate the the
Oh,
milestones.
yeah.
I mean, celebrate the milestones, and there's no getting it wrong, and we're always growing. I mean, that's what, and I know, again, you and I have had this conversation. We've talked about this, in great detail. But where we are today is different than where we are yesterday.
Hmm.
And I know for myself, as I've moved through, um, you know, consciously trying to go through a spiritual path,
Hmm.
consciously, really, it's the to know how to be the best me I can be.
Hmm.
And every day, if I'm doing that, I'm gonna be different every day. But I'm still human. I'm still human. And, and absolutely you stop and you catch yourself um and I think you have to learn to smile and laugh with yourself. You know? It's like if I was out with my best girlfriend and, and something all of a sudden we got acting silly or stupid. It was she started, I would probably, I would laugh and be like, okay, come on. Like, like, all right, you had a moment, let's go. And, and as we do that with ourselves, and it's, as we're being the witnessing the witnesser, I mean, as we're witnessing ourselves, learning to have fun with ourselves,
Yeah.
as you're loving yourself, how would you be with your best friend? I mean, if you want to know where you are in your life, knowing the relationship you have with yourself,
Yeah.
because every other relationship builds on that.
Yep. Yep.
Even if it means putting boundaries up, and even if it means that, you're, the caregiver and the nurturer in this one, the health that you have within yourself shows up.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Cut yourself some slack, love yourself. Those are probably because you are the only being that you're with 24/7 all the
Yeah.
time, 365 days a year. So you should love yourself because that's a lot of company to be with someone that you don't like. If you think about it, that's a long time to be with someone that you don't like, or someone that you don't appreciate or respect or honor. So yeah, that's
And as we're at a time where there's so much game changing going
mhm,
on. I mean, there's so much of what we have all been led to believe, that we've been taught to believe,
yep,
that we've taken for granted in believing.
yep,
And look at age, you know. We're at a place now where, we're defying
mhm,
age in a lot of
yep,
ways. And I'm just curious of where we're going to end up being when we start talking about the ego in 10 years,
mhm,
50 years. The conversations around the ego could be vastly different, and how we are with building our own relationship with the ego now,
mhm,
that's going to have an attribute with that.
yep,
So I love that we're talking about this today, because I want to spend different quality time with my ego,
yeah, yeah,
and understand that it deserves some love and some respect, because it is trying to do a job. It's trying to protect me. It's trying to, make sure that my inner child stays intact.
mhm,
And but just like I had to grow up, when I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How is it that we're allowing our ego to grow up?
yeah. And you're talking about the future. What came to me too was just a world where we start teaching our children right from the get go what that part of themselves actually is, where it comes
Mhm.
from, and how you can be friends with it. As opposed to when you and I were kids, there was like, what is an ego? That was something the psychiatrist talked about, or a psychologist talked about. Ego, id, super id. What is all of that stuff? But just think of young children that are raised loving themselves in their totality. Like that would just be amazing. Oh, yes. I love it.
It's
Here now.
beautiful.
Bang.
It's beautiful.
So we're almost out of time, but Yvonne, namaste. It's so wonderful to see you here.
Yvonne.
And Denise even made a comment about game changer, that yes, it is a game changer to love and embrace your ego. Absolutely. And that's where I've learned that just by loving and embracing your ego, over time it relaxes like a scared child would relax, and lets you realize that it doesn't need to be scared anymore. And it gets that confidence. You get that confidence in yourself and where you're going. And eventually you've formed new habits, and then, and you have a much more healthy relationship with your ego, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, we're almost out of time, Sarah, once again.
Yes, we are.
And I have we're going to leave you guys with a little bit of a gift here today, because I have a big announcement that I would like to make. Um, this will be our last show for Awakenings Moments to Inspire. At least for now, we're putting the show on a brief hiatus. I have started some new work, and I am also working on my book. So I'm going to be very, very busy in the next few months. So with that being said, we've just decided that we're going to put the show on hiatus, and but we are here with you in always in love, and in our thoughts, and in our prayers, for sure, because your Oneness Talk Radio and the community attached to it have been absolutely amazing, amazing people. You're all amazing people. Absolutely.
Well, it has
So
been fun, and I've loved being part of it over the last few weeks,
Yeah.
and this has really been special. I've loved being able to connect with everyone and have these conversations. So this has been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It has been great. Um, so what we thought we might do, we've mentioned this before on on the show, but every morning, Sarah and I get together with another friend, and we're only on our call. Well, sometimes we get gabbing, but technically we're only supposed to be on our call for maybe 10, 15 minutes. And we each take a 17-second moment to feel into um, ourselves, our ego, our body, our mind, spirit all together. And then we just, well, you explain, Sarah, because it was you that got us into rampages to begin with.
So rampaging, the beauty with rampaging, and it actually, um, okay, it came from a friend of mine. We were doing what was called $1 Million Manifestors. And it was a group where we would come on, and there was, I think, about 10 of us. And once a week we would gather, and we would take the visualization and the ideas, the teachings around Abraham Hicks. And it was like, if you were a millionaire, how would you talk? And
Mhm,
so it was the visualization and the words and the feelings and all that. So it was very much a scenario type of a thing. But a friend of mine reached out to me and she said, I would love doing this every day. And it was a beautiful thing because we didn't do quite the same approach. What we did was we found our best feeling place in the morning, and we would
mhm,
start our day with a positive rampage of
mhm,
whatever it was, however positive we could make it. And the idea is Abraham Hicks says, that if you hold that feeling for 2 minutes, you shift. So
mhm,
we would do 17 seconds of, whoever was going to rampage, of feeling the feeling. And then 2 minutes at least, 2 to 5 minutes was kind of our parameters of then verbally feeling into it. And amazing thing. So I did that 4 years with this group that I initially did this with. And we
mhm.
did it for 4 years every morning except for Sunday. And it was incredible because it really made me be conscious of how I was starting my day,
Yeah.
how I was feeling my day, what I was doing, with my first thoughts and feelings of the day. And anyway, and so Angela and Pauline, after we did the Global Minga in December, we decided that that's what we were going to do starting in January. So we've been connecting in the mornings and doing that, and it is a real gift to find people to do that with. So yeah, and you can
Yeah.
do it by yourself too.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Just
I
there have been
do it
times
for
where
everyone.
one or some of us can't make it or whatever, and so, yeah, but yeah, I do it in front of the mirror if I'm not able to make it that morning, and, just with myself, because it really does kind of set you up for the day. Like, there have even been times where I've showed up to a rampage, and I'm on the struggle bus that morning, but once I hear Sarah and Pauline start their rampages, and they go to such, beautiful, centered places within themselves, and they just take you along with them. It's truly is, inspiring to watch, but it just immediately begins to uplift you so that by the time your turn comes around, you're just kind of itching. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. So, what we thought we might do here today is just give you a brief little example of what a rampage would look like, and then you can go out there, find three, four of your friends, and just first thing in the morning, agree on a time. You just call, you get on we use WhatsApp, you get on WhatsApp, and you just, oh no, we use Zoom, sorry, or WhatsApp. Well, all these
And you
platforms nowadays, it's fabulous.
you can actually call, just call, do a group call. And I would say, you can have just another person, but it's good to have probably 3 people
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
because if somebody can't make it, then you know that 2 people can connect. And that was kind of the golden rule when my friend and I initially started it.
Mhm.
And if you don't feel like you have anybody, find that time in the morning to just sit and verbally, or if you want, I guess you could write it too. Do
Mhm.
it in front of the mirror, or if you have to drive to work, do it on your way to work and
Yep.
just, yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Would you like to start or shall I start?
It's up to you. You know
I
me.
have absolutely no timekeeping matter here.
I have a timekeeping matter.
Okay.
If you would like to go first, let
Yeah,
me let
I'll
you
go
go
for it.
first.
Yep.
All right, here is your 17 seconds, and they start now. And go.
I always go to gratitude and thanks. I am so thankful for opening my eyes in the morning. I am thankful for my Grinch slippers that I get to slip on my feet. I am thankful for the fact that I know that I have food in my fridge and that there's food for both me, my family, and my pets. I am thankful that I have a roof over my head and that I live in such a beautiful place as Ontario, where there are seasons and colors and changes all around me, different birds, different animals. Each season they just go by. I love the fall. The fall is my absolute favorite time of year. It's crisp, but the sun is still shining and it's still warm, and everything is just blazing, blazing with color. And the I love asters. Asters are my absolute favorite. And I am thankful that in September, purple asters just coat the fields where I live because they're absolutely my favorite. I am so thankful for my family. I'm so thankful for my friends. I'm thankful that I have the ability to go out and drive places, to go to stores, to see and talk to people. I have the ability to go and use all of my senses to communicate with everybody out there in the world. I love the fact that I can just walk into a store with a big smile on my face and other people smile back at me. I think that is the most amazing thing. I am just absolutely thankful for everything in my life and everywhere that I'm going in this exact moment. And I am complete.
Beautiful. Okay.
I will give you 17 beautiful Mississippis.
All right. I'll take them. I'll take them.
All right. And we're going to start now. And share.
I love life. I love being alive. I love being able to breathe and to think and to feel and to sing. I love allowing whatever I'm feeling to come through. I love being in the human body. I love having my eyes. I love having my mouth and being able to taste and enjoy food. I love being able to move my body, and I love being able to sleep. I love being able to be me. I love me. I love every part of me. I love that I've been able to be alive and to grow and to evolve. I love who I am today. I love who I was yesterday. I love that I'm going to be me tomorrow, whatever that is. I love that that is limitless. I love that I'm in control of that. I love that I'm a sovereign being having this experience. I love being able to sift and sort. I love being able to be creative, and I love that I am co-creating with the universe. I think that is so magical, and I love the magic of life. I love the magic that I am. I love the magic of everybody. I love the magic of you. I love the magic of this community. I love the magic of the collective. I love them. I love that there is magic that I don't even understand. I don't even know. I can't even see. I love that there has been lives lived before me. I love that there is lives that are going to live beyond me. I love that what I am creating right now is going to be a factor in lives that are going to happen, 100 years from now. I love that I know this, and I love that I have the belief and the knowings that I do have. I love that I believe in the goodness of life, and I love that I experience the goodness of life. I love the affirmation of that. I love that life is good. I love that I am good. I love life, and I am complete.
Oh, we're going to have to get off the call. My face hurts from smiling so much, which is probably a good thing because we only got a couple minutes
We
left.
do.
Yeah.
I love that midday rampage.
I know it'll get you through the rest of the afternoon for you. Maybe that's what we need to do is connect at lunch.
Whew.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you go out there, and even if you do that with yourself in front of the mirror, as Sarah was saying, you've got it. You've got the time on your commute to work. If you can say it out loud to yourself, even better. But if you have to, even just do it in your head. I am fabulous.
Well,
Whatever.
reach out. I'm happy to practice with you. Can
Yeah.
never get enough rampages. Love to be able to help you feel comfortable so you are doing it, even when you feel it, when you feel that joy, and that's the best time. If you find yourself smiling for no reason and just wanting to, tell everybody everything, but yet you just like, I can't find somebody, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Do it out loud.
That's my email if you ever want to reach out to me, and then I can pass you along to Sarah's. I never did get Sarah's email up on here. So if we come back, that's definitely something I'm definitely going to have to remedy for sure. But I just wanted to say thank you to this beautiful community at Oneness Talk Radio. It has been pretty much a year for me. I started in April, so uh, it's been 11 months, and it has been probably the most fun 11 months I think I've ever had in my life. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you out there, and that I love you so, so much. Go out there. You have got this. Let's go. Let's do it. We've got it covered.
We've got it. We've got it. Oh, you guys are beautiful. And definitely, I've enjoyed connecting and being here too. So thank you for this opportunity. Yvonne, Denise, thank you so much for your kind words, and all of you out there. We love you.
Much love.
Mwah.
Namaste.